Hello everyone, welcome to The Way. Good to see you again, thanks for joining us. Today we're going to be wrapping up our look at 1 Thessalonians this week. So we're looking at 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. It's the final chapter in 1 Thessalonians. And he says, because the Thessalonians know that Jesus is coming back into the world and knows that he is coming back to take his place as king, that they need to work really hard at standing out from the people around them. So he uses this phrase like people of darkness and children of the light. So we as Christians are children of the light. Calling us children of light is an incredible compliment. That is an amazing thing to be said of you. Like if somebody says you bring light into my world, that's amazing, isn't it? That is that person saying that they love you and they love being around you because you make their life better. Yeah, and that's what Paul's saying here. He's saying that as children of light, you, the church, followers of Jesus, make the world better. You're children of light, and that is our task, to make the world better by shining out the love of God into it. Okay, so let's just have a look at a couple of different things that light does, and then we'll kind of be able to kind of pinpoint really what Paul wants us to do here. So, number one, light brings colour. Light brings colour. If you've been wandering around in your house at the dead of night or been walking down a street at night time, it's difficult to see colours in different cars on the street. If you're trying to find a pair of socks in the dark, you can't tell the difference between a red sock and a green sock because everything kind of looks grey and brown and washed out. When it's dark, colours kind of blend into each other and nothing really stands out, which is why it's really important to switch on the light, because only then do you get those vibrancy of the different colours. You get those colours standing out from each other, you get the contrast, you get the connections between the colours, and those colours are exciting and loud and vibrant. Yeah, and for so long when I was growing up, when I was a kid, people told me that Christians were boring. People said that Christians were dull. And that's the opposite of what Paul's saying here. He's saying you're children of light. You bring colour, you bring life. Jesus says that in me there is life. And if Christians are being boring and dull and not bringing colour to themselves or the people around them, then they're not shining out the love of God in the way that he intended them to. God's given us life. He's given us life to the full. And okay, fine. We can tell our friends that we don't want to do drugs. We don't want to sleep around. We don't want to get drunk with them on street corners. Fine. What kind of life is that? We have life to the full, so we can see the world around us. We can help people. We can look into people's lives and actually give them joy. Yeah, you might have to kind of stand up and say, actually, I don't think that's really a life that brings that much colour, really. To wake up with a hangover the next day, that doesn't bring me that much colour. It doesn't bring you that much colour to your life. But why don't we? We can sit down. We can watch a film together. We can listen to some music. We can chat. We can go for a walk. We can. Oh, have you heard about my church? They're really good at showing each other love and spending time together and helping each other out. And we do life together really well. It's really exciting. And we talk to God all the time, the maker of the universe, and that is amazing. We have life to the full because we understand who made the world and where it's going. That is life to the full. And the second thing about colour, really, really important, it brings light to dark places. So I heard this story once where it's not a true story, so don't get weirded out or anything, but imagine this. You're walking through a massive mansion Okay, going room to room, through the corridors, in through the doors and stuff, but all the lights are turned out. You're in the dark. You can see bits, so you can see kind of the outlines of the coving. You can see the door frames. Just about everything's really grey and dark, and you're kind of feeling your way around. You go through this pair of massive double doors, and you go into this room. All of a sudden, you see that the floor is like flickering, glistening, gleaming. Looks amazing. So you start grabbing them up. You're like so you see these jewels, and you're picking them up, putting them in your pockets, stuffing them in your coat, in your trouser pockets, in everywhere you can, because you want to get as many of these jewels as you can. But then somebody comes in behind you and they turn on the light, and you realise that in your hands, in your pockets, they're not jewels. They're cockroaches. And they start walking all over you and climbing out of your pockets. They gleamed in the dark because that's the way they're made, and they looked like they were glistening like jewels, but they weren't. They were disgusting, horrible. Makes me feel really weird thinking about that. So sorry for sharing that with you. But it makes a really good point about light and the importance of light. So in the dark, bad things look good. Sometimes it's difficult to tell the difference between good and bad things when you're in the dark. Things might look okay, things might look exciting, but actually they're dangerous to you, or they're disgusting, and we need to get rid of them as quickly as possible. We need to run. But when that light gets turned on, we see the things for what they are. We see these disgusting things, the things that are in the world that are not good for us, that are wrong, and we see them. We see them in their disgustingness, and that means that we can avoid them. That means that we can tell people, actually, you don't want to do that because you're just putting cockroaches in your pocket. And as children of light, we are able to do that for others, for people around us, to be able to go, actually, that's unkind, that's racist, that's not the way to live. And we should be doing that. We should be challenging people. We should be bringing light into the darkness. We should be going, why don't we look after that person? Why don't we pray for that guy? Why don't we go around to that person's house and bring them a meal? And bring light to dark places. That's what Paul's saying, and that's our job. Because we need to think about where this light comes from. Because Paul doesn't say, you Thessalonians, you are the light. He doesn't say you're the light. He says you're children of light. So we have to recognize where our light comes from. Do you see? So we're not the origin of the light, we're just the children. So we need to remember that the light comes from God, and He gives us the light, and then we give the light to others.